How many hours did you work today? Go on, think about it. 8, 10, maybe 12, 14? There's a strange pride in that number, isn't there? We wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor. We tell people how busy we are, how packed our schedule is, how we barely have time to breathe. We think that if our calendar is full, our life must be full too. We believe that motion is progress, but I want you to be honest with yourself just for a moment. After all those hours, what did you actually do? I'm not talking about the emails you answered. I'm not talking about the meetings you sat in, nodding your head. I'm not talking about the articles you read or the research you did. I'm talking about the one thing, the one that terrifies you, the one that could change everything, the one that, if you did it, would make 90% of your to-do list irrelevant. It's the cold call you need to make. It's the difficult conversation you need to have. It's the first line of code you need to write for a project you've been dreaming about for years. It's the blank page you need to fill. You spent 14 hours today avoiding it. You built a fortress of trivial tasks around it. You were busy, yes. You were exhausted, yes. But you were not productive. You were hiding. This is the great lie of the modern world. We have mistaken activity for achievement. We are drowning in a sea of empty motion, celebrating how hard we are paddling while our boat is chained to the dock. Your to-do list isn't a plan for success. It's become your hiding place, a place to feel productive without ever taking a real risk. And the hardest truth of all, deep down, you know it. You feel it in the quiet moments, late at night when the noise of the day fades and you're left alone with the echo of your own unfulfilled potential. Your calendar is full, but your impact is empty. And that quiet ache in your soul is telling you that something has to change. Do you agree with this? Let me know in the comments. I once knew a young man. Let's call him David. David had everything you're told you need to succeed. He was smart, he was charismatic, and he had an energy that could light up a room. He had an idea for a company that was, on paper, brilliant. And he was the busiest person I had ever met. His days were a blur of activity. He would wake up at AM to read articles about entrepreneurship. His calendar was a rainbow of color-coded appointments, coffee meetings with potential advisors, networking events, conference calls with possible partners. He spent weeks designing the perfect logo. He spent months building a beautiful website that explained, in flawless detail, what his company would do. He had business cards that felt heavy and important in your hand. If you asked David what he was doing, he would talk for an hour. He used all the right words: synergy, disruption, scaling, growth hacking. He was fluent in the language of success. He looked the part. He sounded the part. He was the perfect image of a 21st century founder, and for a long time, everyone believed it. His friends were impressed. His family was proud. He was a master of performance. But months turned into a year. Then 2. The beautiful website was still just a website. The perfect logo was on a product that didn't exist. The networking meetings led to more networking meetings. There was always one more contact to make, one more article to read, one more tweak to the business plan before he could really start. His life was full of the prelude to work, but never the work itself. I remember meeting him for lunch one day. He was buzzing as usual. He pulled out his phone to show me the new analytics for his website. Look, he said, we had 500 visitors last week. I looked at him and I asked a simple question. David, have you sold anything? He hesitated. The energy flickered for a second. Well, we're not at that stage yet. We're building the brand first. We're creating a community. I pushed a little harder. Have you talked to a customer? Not a potential advisor, not a friend. A real potential customer who would give you money for what you're building. The silence that followed was heavier than any words. He looked down at his hands. The confident, charismatic founder disappeared, and in his place was a young, scared man. He confessed that he had a list of 100 potential customers he was planning to call. He had been planning to call them for 6 months. He was always just about to do it. But first, he needed to refine the pitch deck. First, he needed to finish a new feature on the website. First, the excuses were endless. The truth was simple. He was terrified. He wasn't afraid of working hard. He worked harder than anyone I knew. He was afraid of finding out the truth. What if he made the calls and everyone said no? What if he launched the product and no one cared? The flurry of activity, the endless busyness, was a shield. It protected him from the possibility of failure. As long as he was preparing, he couldn't fail. The project could remain perfect in his mind, full of infinite potential. The moment he tried to make it real, it could be proven worthless. His busyness was not a sign of dedication. It was a symptom of fear. As one study in the Journal of Consumer Research found, people often choose urgent, unimportant tasks over important, long-term ones. This is called the mere urgency effect. We get a small, satisfying hit from completing a trivial task, which we use to distract ourselves from the intimidating, important work. David was a textbook case. He was addicted to the small, empty victories of being busy to avoid the terrifying silence of facing the one thing that mattered. He left that lunch a different person. The illusion was shattered. He had nothing to show for 2 years of frantic effort but a handful of business cards and a deep, gnawing sense of shame. That was his breaking point. Do you see yourself in David's story? Take a moment to think about it. Let's be honest with each other. You are David, maybe not in the same way, maybe not in business, but you are doing it somewhere in your life. You are using a storm of activity to hide from a truth you don't want to face. You are cleaning the garage instead of updating your resume. You are researching diets online instead of going for a walk. You are complaining about your boss with co-workers instead of having the difficult conversation with him about your future. You are rearranging your spreadsheets instead of making the one sales call that could save your quarter. Busyness is the most socially acceptable addiction of our time. It's a drug, and we are all willing users. It gives you an alibi for a life not lived. When you fail, or more accurately, when you fail to even try, you can say, "I just didn't have the time." That is a lie. You have the time. You have the same 24 hours as everyone else. What you don't have is the courage. Let that sink in. This isn't a time management problem. This is an emotional courage problem. Your to-do list is your hiding place. It is a carefully curated wall of low stakes, low risk, low value tasks that you erect every morning to keep yourself from having to face the things that could actually change your life. Each tick box is a small dose of anesthetic. It numbs the pain of insignificance. It gives you the feeling of progress without the substance of it. You are not managing your time. You are sedating your ambition. Why? Because real work is terrifying. Real work involves risk. It involves the possibility of rejection, of failure, of ridicule. Making that call means the other person can say no. Writing that book means the publisher can reject it. Starting that business means you can lose your savings. Hiding in busyness is safe. No one can criticize you for working a 14-hour day. No one can fault you for being exhausted. It is the perfect crime. You are the victim of your own schedule, but you are also the architect of it. Stop celebrating how busy you are. It's a confession of your fear. It's an admission that you are prioritizing the urgent over the important. It's a sign that you are letting your life be run by other people's agendas and your own anxieties, not by your own purpose. The truth is this: the modern world is not designed to help you focus. It is designed to distract you. Notifications, emails, endless feeds. They are all pulling you away from what matters. And we let them because it's easier than facing the silence. It's easier than facing the one big, terrifying task. But your potential is not in the noise. It's in the silence. It's in the deep, focused, uninterrupted work that no one sees. The work you do when you shut out the world and face the blank page. Until you are willing to be honest about your addiction to busyness, you will stay stuck. You will continue to run in place, getting more and more tired, but never getting any closer to the finish line. You will live a life of chronic preparation, always getting ready to live, but never actually living. If this is hitting home, if you're feeling that uncomfortable twinge of recognition, that's good. Don't turn away from it. Stay with that feeling. That's where the change begins. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What happened to David? After that lunch, he went quiet. For the first time in 2 years, he stopped. He stopped the networking. He stopped the endless tweeting. He stopped tweaking the logo. He just sat with the uncomfortable truth that he was a performer, not a builder, and in that silence, something profound happened. He had to confront the beliefs that were driving his behavior. He had to kill the old ideas to make room for new ones. This is the hardest work there is. It's not about changing your schedule. It's about changing your mind. The first belief he had to kill was this: more effort equals more success. We are raised on this idea. Work hard and you will succeed. But David had worked himself to the point of burnout. and he was further from success than when he started. He realized that effort is not the goal, results are the goal. An engine can burn fuel all day, spinning at 10,000 revolutions per minute, but if it's not connected to the wheels, the car goes nowhere. His effort was disconnected from results. He was spinning his wheels, creating a lot of heat and noise, but no momentum. He replaced this belief with a new one: my value is not in my effort, it is in my output. He had to stop measuring his day by the hours he logged and start measuring it by the value he created. A single, focused hour that produces a tangible result is worth more than 100 hours of aimless activity. The second belief he had to kill was, I must be fully prepared before I can start. This is the perfectionist's trap. It's a sophisticated form of procrastination. We tell ourselves we are just being responsible, that we need to do more research, build a better plan, wait for the perfect moment. But the perfect moment never comes. This belief is rooted in fear, the fear of being judged, the fear of making a mistake. He replaced this with a powerful new belief: action produces clarity. Inaction produces doubt. He had spent 2 years in the fog of planning, and it only created more questions, more uncertainty. He realized that you don't think your way to clarity, you act your way to clarity. Making the sales call, even if it fails, gives you information. Launching the ugly, imperfect product gives you feedback. The market doesn't care about your business plan. It cares about what you can do for it. As the great Vilfredo Pareto observed, roughly 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes. David had been focused on the 80% of trivial tasks, while the vital 20, talking to customers and building a product, lay untouched. His mental shift was to relentlessly hunt for that 20. The final and deepest belief he had to kill was, if I look successful, I will feel successful. He had been chasing the aesthetics of success, not the substance of it. The nice business, cards, the professional website, the confident way he talked. It was all a costume, and he thought that if he wore the costume long enough, it would become real. But it doesn't work that way. It's a hollow pursuit that leaves you feeling like an imposter because you are one you know you haven't earned it. The new belief that took its place was the most important of all: my identity is forged in the work, not in the applause. True confidence doesn't come from external validation. It comes from the quiet, internal knowledge that you have faced the hard thing and done it. It's the confidence that is earned in the silence, when no one is watching. It's the self-respect you build by keeping the promises you make to yourself. He had to stop trying to look like a founder and start being a builder, even if the building was messy, slow, and invisible to the outside world. This wasn't an overnight change. It was a painful, deliberate process of unlearning. He had to learn to tolerate the anxiety of not being busy. He had to learn to sit in a room by himself and just think, to separate the signal from the noise. He had to redefine his entire relationship with work, fear, and his own identity. But this internal shift was the foundation for everything that came next. Before you can change your life, you must first change your mind. What is the one belief that is holding you back right now? I challenge you to write it down, acknowledge it, and then decide what you will believe instead. And please, subscribe to our channel. Will rise for more content that will help you on your journey. A mental shift is useless if it doesn't lead to a change in behavior. Theory is cheap. Action is everything. So how did David change his actions? It wasn't about buying a new planner or downloading a new productivity app. It was simpler and harder than that. He adopted a new way of operating, built on a few core lessons. Lesson 1, the rule of one. Every evening, before he finished work, he would look at his massive, terrifying list of goals, and he would ask himself one question: what is the single most important thing I can do tomorrow that will move me closer to my goal? Not 5 things, not 3, 1. That one thing became his mission for the next day, and he did it first, before he checked his email, before he looked at social media, before he let the world's priorities flood his mind. He would wake up, and for the first 60 or 90 minutes of his day, he would work on that one single thing. This is a concept C.A.L. Newport calls deep work, the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. David made it the cornerstone of his life. Some days, the one thing was making 5 cold calls. Some days, it was writing 500 words of code. Some days, it was having a difficult conversation with a supplier. It was almost always the thing he was most afraid of doing, but a funny thing happened. After he had accomplished that one terrifying thing, the rest of the day felt easy. The fear was gone. He had already won the day. By AM, the rest of the small tasks, the emails, the administrative work fell into place with a newfound sense of lightness and clarity. He had slain the dragon first. Everything else was just cleaning up the cave. Lesson 2, embracing productive discomfort. David had used busyness to avoid the discomfort of real work. His new way was to actively seek out that discomfort. He made a rule: if he wasn't feeling a little bit of fear or uncertainty each day, he wasn't pushing himself hard enough. He learned to distinguish between two types of discomfort. There is the bad discomfort of frantic, meaningless busyness, the stress of a packed schedule and a shallow impact. And there is the good discomfort of deep, focused work, the strain of pushing your skills to their limit, of facing a problem you don't know how to solve, of being vulnerable to rejection. He stopped avoiding the good discomfort and started leaning into it. He saw it as a compass. The fear was no longer a signal to stop. It became a signal that he was going in the right direction. He was on the edge of his capabilities, and that is the only place where growth happens. Lesson 3, the ship it mindset. The old David would have waited for his product to be perfect before showing it to anyone. The new David adopted the mantra of Silicon Valley: ship it. He took his ugly, barely functional, embarrassing prototype and he sold it. He found one customer, just one, and convinced them to try it for a ridiculously low price. And that one customer changed everything. They gave him feedback. Brutal, honest, invaluable feedback. They told him what they hated. They told him what they loved. They told him what they actually needed, which was completely different from what David thought they needed. That 1 hour of real-world feedback was worth more than his 2 years of planning, designing, and preparing. It gave him a dose of reality. That was both humbling and exhilarating. It destroyed his precious theories and replaced them with cold, hard facts. He learned that the product is not built in the workshop. It is forged in the marketplace. This new way wasn't about working more hours. In fact, he often worked fewer. But his hours were potent. They were filled with action, not motion. He wasn't busy anymore. He was effective. He was no longer an actor playing a role. He was a builder with calluses on his hands to prove it. Listen to me. It's time to stop lying to yourself. It's time for the truth. The amateur talks strategy. The professional executes. Your biggest competitor is not the other guy. It's the 10 other things you're doing to avoid the real work. Validation feels good for a minute. Execution wins the war. Stop networking. Start building. The right people find builders. An imperfect start will always beat a perfect plan that never starts. Fear and excitement are the same physiological feeling. Your brain just labels it. Choose to label it excitement. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. Your to-do list is a menu of your fears. The thing you're avoiding the most is the thing you should do first. Success speaks loudest when you've said nothing. Stop reading another book. Stop watching another video. Stop listening to another podcast. Close the tabs. Do the work. Nobody doubts a silent worker until it's too late to stop them. You don't need more motivation. You need less distraction. The goal is not to be busy. The goal is to be effective. Your confidence is not built when everyone is clapping. It's built when you're alone in a room at an M, facing the hard thing, and you choose not to run. Stop waiting for permission. No one is coming to save you. What happened to David? He didn't become a billionaire overnight. This isn't a fairy tale. This is real life. But he is a builder. His small company is growing. It's not perfect, but it's real. It has real customers, real revenue, and a real impact. He is no longer the man who talks about what he is going to do. He is now the man who quietly shows what he has done. The victory wasn't the money. It was the identity. He looks in the mirror and sees a different person. He sees a man who can face fear, a man who can keep a promise to himself. He is no longer afraid of the one big task. He hunts it. He wakes up every morning and goes to war with his own resistance, and every day he wins. Now I'm asking you, what is your one thing? Don't look away. Don't pretend you don't know. You know exactly what it is. It's that whisper in the back of your mind that you've been drowning out with the noise of being busy. It's the business you haven't started, the conversation you haven't had, the skill you haven't learned, the apology you haven't given. It is the thing that stands between the person you are today and the person you were born to be. And you are letting it sit there, untouched, while you rearrange the furniture in a burning house. Enough. The time for planning is over. The time for research is over. The time for waiting for the perfect moment is over. Another day will pass, then another week, then another year, and you will look back and see yourself standing in the exact same place, just more tired, more cynical, and more full of regret. Or you can make a different choice. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. In this moment, I challenge you. When this video ends, close your computer, put your phone on silent, and go take the first step. Not a big one, a small one. Send the email, write the first paragraph, make the call, stop planning, start doing, stop talking, start building, stop dreaming, start shipping. If you are ready to make this commitment, I want you to declare it. Go to the comments and write, I am a builder. Let the world know. Let yourself know that today is the day everything changes. And hit that like button and subscribe to Will Rise, because this is a community for builders, not for talkers. The world is filled with busy people. It is overflowing with planners, dreamers, and talkers. They make a lot of noise, but they leave no mark. What the world is desperate for, what your own soul is desperate for, is something else. It's desperate for a finisher. Build quietly. Let the world choke on your results. Screen goes to black. A final text overlay appears. Like, comment, I am a builder. Subscribe to Will Rise.